So first and foremost, the Pixel 8 Pro along with the Pixel Watch 2, they were sent to me by Google thanks to hashtag Team Pixel. And I really appreciate what they do, sending me the products, but they don't pay for reviews. And even if they did, I would totally reject that and simply not review their products altogether. But this is just based on my opinion. I think that the Pixel lineup has come a long way, and they have improved in many different ways. We can't deny the fact that if you are into 100% Android and you are faithful, this is one of the best devices to get. And that's just something we can't deny. I mean, whether you like it or not, this is a very, very good device. But there are things that I just didn't like coming from the 15 Pro Max. We know this is right now Apple's most powerful iPhone yet. And I got the natural titanium color, 512 gigabytes. I love the color. I like how it feels. I like how it handles. And yes, I also switched for about 2 weeks and a half approximately. I switched my eSIM from Verizon to the Pixel 8 Pro, and it was a great experience overall. But again, with a few hiccups that determined that I should keep the iPhone maybe until the Pixel 9, hopefully. But yes, this device, as we know, comes with the best specs. It comes with the Tensor chip number 3. It has great cameras on the back. We have a 50 megapixel main shooter with a 5x telephoto, 48 megapixel, and a 48 megapixel ultra wide. Now we even have a temperature sensor here on the back, which hasn't been medically certified by nobody. But there's a lot of things that I like. This visor here keeps things very nice and firm when you're placing your device on a hard surface. But now keep in mind that this can be fixed here with the iPhone as well with a simple case, just saying. So I took the Pixel 8 Pro to Daytona Beach when they had the Biketoberfest, and even before then I was using it on and off. Even though I didn't have my Verizon service in it, I was using it on and off. And I did a lot of recording. I did a lot of photos, and I was quite impressed. To be honest with you, the cameras are top notch. As I said, we have a 3-camera setup on the back. And on the camera side, I have to admit, this has to be one of the best devices out there. I know there are Samsung, OnePlus, Huawei phones, although they're banned here in the USA, but they have tremendous cameras, and this phone competes quite well with all of those devices that I just mentioned. And everything was okay, but I also noticed a couple of hiccups. So for instance, if the phone, let's say I'm a mail carrier and things can get quite heated inside that truck, and when you're using the phone, such as I use the iPhone 15 Pro Max or even previous generations of the iPhone, I think they can handle the heat a little better. You see, the Pixel 8 Pro, as I was using it consistently and I had the case on and I was trying to have it to where there was a lot of ventilation going through it so that it didn't heat up. Every time it heated up, it was very annoying that the phone does stutter quite a bunch. And I mean that sometimes I even had to restart the device. For instance, if I was making a phone call and then I switch to, let's say, my Facebook account or TikTok, things would just freeze up to the point where sometimes even on TikTok, I could hear the video, but I couldn't do anything in terms of touching the display and exiting or killing the app or doing pretty much anything with it. It was completely frozen. And you see, that's something that, well, we know that with the iPhone, it's not very common for that to happen. As a matter of fact, I own it and I can tell you it hasn't happened ever since we had the latest update. When I first got it, I noticed a few hiccups here and there, a few bugs as they call it, and they were fixed. And ever since, no more issues. Now with the Pixel, that hasn't been the case. The second thing I noticed, which was a big bummer, is that with the iPhone 15 Pro Max with the eSIM, I get great signal reception. Now it would be super long for me to show you that right now if I activate my eSIM onto the Pixel 8 Pro, but the reception was not the best. There were times where, as a mail carrier, I had to go inside of a building and deliver a package, and my signal would disappear almost entirely to the point where the phone wouldn't get any data, something that has never happened with the iPhone 15 Pro Max. And well, so far from these two issues that I already mentioned, from the heating up and the signal reception, you can tell that those are pretty big deal. And I mean, this is aside from some of the photo editing that you can do with the Pixel 8 Pro, which is amazing, like photo blur or unblur. You can also do what they call the audio, the magic audio correction. You can also do the magic photo correction, where you can make things disappear, and that's all great. I mean, you can even change faces on photos, and that's amazing, really. I mean, the things that you can do with the Pixel in terms of editing, that's great. But the software just doesn't feel finished. Okay, there's a lot of lag. Sometimes it would even crash on me. And when iPhone or iOS, let's just call it that, iOS, when they release something, it's because it has been tested, verified, and re-verified for it to work well. Now, we know that Android has suffered from this issue just because they are on different devices. There's just so much to for these developers to work on to make it work on every single device. They all have different processor. We know that iOS is just for the iPhone, and that's pretty much it. And I can understand how things are a little bit fluent, but that photo editor that we have here is something that only this device has, and it should have been fixed before the release of the product. That's just my opinion. Now, in terms of battery, here's the weird part. We know that the iPhone has a much smaller battery, but for some reason, even though some people are saying that the Pixel has a better, much superior battery, I was getting better results here with the iPhone 15 Pro Max. And to me, battery is super important because even though I'm a mail carrier, I do a lot of content for YouTube, and by a lot I mean 6-7 videos a month. To me, that's a lot, knowing that I have already a full-time job. So I'm always doing research. I'm always listening to podcasts. I'm always listening to things that are associated with products, just so that I can learn and of course become well educated about those particular products. And well, with the iPhone, I can go through the entire day, no issues. Sometimes I get home with about 45%. And with the Pixel, that was not the case. I had, at one point, as I was working, I had to return to the station, pick up a charge it for about 20 minutes as I was eating lunch, which means that I couldn't use the phone on my break. I had to interrupt it so that I could charge it and pretty much finish the day. And to me, guys, those just were the things that determined that I am not yet ready to switch to a Pixel device. Now, like I've been saying, the phone is great. In the picture side, it is great. The display is amazing, 120 hertz. It looks very, very good. The colors are nice and punchy. The cameras are spectacular. But another complaint I have is the unlocking system. So we know we have security unlocking. We had the fingerprint here with the Pixel 8 Pro. And sometimes, especially outdoors, when there's a lot of sunlight, for some reason, it doesn't work all the time. And I had to sometimes exhaust basically the fingerprint unlocking. It will fail, continue failing, until eventually prompted me to enter my passcode. My fingers were not sweaty, they were not dirty. It was just not read it, to the point that I would even wipe down the display to see if I could get it unlocked. And no, guys, it never worked. So that's another complaint that I have here about the Pixel, is that their fingerprint scanners are far inferior, or overall the unlocking technology that they use here with the iPhone 15 Pro Max. Of course, I use the face unlock feature, and it hardly ever fails, guys. The only time that it fails is when I have my head on at work with the glasses. And that is just sometimes that it requires for me to kind of like line up the phone a little different so that it detects that it's me, or sometimes even remove the hat. But besides from that, this thing works all the time. And I'm talking about the iPhone 15 Pro Max. So here I have mentioned basically the biggest issues that I've had with the Pixel, and it's super sad because in terms of design, believe it or not, don't get insulted, I like the Pixel a lot better in terms of design than the iPhone 15 Pro Max. As you guys saw here from my channel, recently I did receive or purchased the smart glasses where I could see a video, and with the iPhone 15 Pro Max, this does support video over USB-C, which is the port that you guys see at the bottom. So if you have a dedicated USB wire that supports video, then all you have to do is plug it in here, go to your screen or whatever you want to plug this into, and boom, you are done. With the Pixel 8 Pro, I needed a special device in order to do that because this doesn't support video over USB-C. Now, a phone that wants to truly compete with something as big as iPhone, they have to. I mean, this is Pro for a reason, guys, and cutting those little edges doesn't cut it for me keeping a phone that doesn't do all the things that I can do with the iPhone. Now, there's a lot of things you can do with Android that you can't do with the iPhone, but this is a pretty big one. Again, not supporting video over USB-C. So in the end, it comes to, well, I like Android. It's not Android. Android, believe me, guys, that's not the issue at all. I come from both worlds, and Android is perfect for me. I have no complaints. There's a lot of things you can do that you can't with the iPhone 15 Pro Max, like that little temperature sensor on the back. Well, the iPhone doesn't have that, but it's still, I mean, these other issues that I encountered is what made me not continue using the Pixel 8 Pro. For the Pixel Watch 2, I kind of used it a little bit here and there, but something I don't like is, check this out, guys. I haven't used this for about 14 hours. Okay, it was fully charged 14 hours ago, and look what I get. Okay, so this is an indication that, well, it wasn't really made to last the entire day as maybe they did promise, because to be honest with you, I didn't watch the announcement for the Pixel Watch 2, but the battery is super mediocre comparing it here to my monster Apple Watch Ultra 2. This device, I can go almost 2 days without having to charge it, and that means wearing it and using it, so on and so forth, and I was not able to do that here with the Pixel Watch 2. Now, I am not making this video to simply hate on Google products. Like I said at the beginning, they have come a long way. They have improved in many different aspects, and they are getting better, but not as good. I did pay more for the iPhone 15 Pro Max, but I feel like I'm getting a lot more as well in terms of quality, in terms of battery durability, in terms of just overall what I called refinement. I am getting it here with the iPhone 15 Pro Max, and that's the main reason, guys, as to why I am keeping this phone as my primary device. Oh, I also like the fact that this phone, the Pixel 8 Pro, does have reverse charging like we have seen with many other Pixel lineups. I do like that. It is a pretty good phone, but again, it still needs more work to make it a true competitor to the iPhone lineup. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Thank you so much for listening to all of the things that I had to complain about. A lot of you might agree, and again, if you disagree, just leave your comments below. Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more. Click on the bell icon so that you don't miss future videos like this, and I'll see you on my next one.